just going to show you how I'm working on this really large piece of cardboard, and I've been painting and adding a lot more white. I've just come in and squirted some just yellow straight out of the tube, and I'm going to use actually this taping knife to spread and give it more movement. So I'm just going to drag it across. And at this moment, I'm just working on building up color and layers, and just playing really with how cardboard reacts to acrylic paint, how fast it dries. I've got some just white acrylic paint. I tend to just squirt my paint in a big jug or jar like this. One, I can get paintbrushes in, I can quickly put a lid on so I don't have to worry about covering the palette over. I'll mix right into the jar, and that way color's good, ready to go. I don't have a problem with like mixing on a palette. And then just kind of blending in some of that. If you notice, I'm not holding the paintbrush like this all the time and going back and forth and changing my movements. If you actually turn it like this, works a little bit better in holding a brush. Yeah, you kind of ruin your brushes, but that's why we buy tons and tons of brushes as artists, because we work on them and they're our tools of the trade. So I'm just bringing more white light in. I've also started using foam brushes to kind of give me that same softening. Also give me like a straight sort of line. I've really liked those as well. I'm not as precious, and I'm much more willing to just try it, get paint on there, and go for it, and not worry so much about the preciousness of $100 canvas or $150 canvas. I just have cardboard. If I don't like it, it's fine. I've learned a lot. It obviously doesn't react the same as canvas does, so you have to like kind of guesstimate that. I can't sand this back like panel or like I can do on canvas. So I sand, I'm just literally going to get the fibers ripped out. It also, finding that paint seeps faster into this, obviously, because it's a paper, but so I have to kind of anticipate that faster. I'm going to need more fluorescent orange. I'm really into that color. Here's one of my other tools. I found this at the thrift store, literally an old masonry tool. A lot of the teeth are just filled with paint now. I could probably stick it in the wash and give it a good clean. I find that edge is really, really helpful. I like smearing up, and then also getting texture lines. When you paint larger, a lot of our problems is when we want to paint larger, and I'm very guilty of this as well, I forget that I need to use larger brushes or larger tools. So we're trying to paint a huge canvas with these little itty bitty half-inch brushes, and then it starts to look really bitty. And I'm learning to cover a large area with a larger tool and getting creative. So tools, totally can find them at the hardware store. Apply the tools, water and a cloth. Amazing, keeps the acrylic a little bit damp if it's starting to dry out on you. Great for drips, great for just, I just want to blend it in. I don't want to see every mark that I've made. I want them to have a little bit more energy maybe. Ooh, look how that orange is just blending in with that white that's already there. You can see some of it underneath, but it's actually a good charcoal stick, not one of those light, it's like a compressed charcoal, not the willow stick, which is really crumbly. What I'm loving is how charcoal, one on cardboard, is like a tree rubbing. Because it's charcoal and not a paint, it actually blends in. I also really find charcoal does well. You could do it with a pencil, one of those really dark, like 6B black pencils. Is it, when the paint is wet, you can just mark through it. And that pulls a little like peek through of the paint that's underneath. And then I just try to remember to wipe their charcoal rag off, otherwise the paint just dries on there. Let me show you here what that kind of looks like. A little bit of glare here from the lighting. Not much about that, but there it is, this large 6 foot wide piece of cardboard that I've just been working and playing on, and really exploring color and the different gradations of color and texture, and darker on one side, moving into lighter, painting always with my hands, one of the best tools. I'm really working with a lot of fluorescent orange and pink, and really just getting those depths and layers in. I don't know if this piece is finished yet. I'm actually thinking I would probably flip it the other way, and view it like that. But it's also just a tester piece. It's just exploring light and transparency, and just brightness, in fun, new, different ways. So if you really enjoyed this video, I look forward to seeing you in the next one.